don't get tired. I don't get tired. I don't get tired.
So we're in for quite a special episode. Well, to me personally, we're in for quite a special episode of Scenic Spliffs today. In fact, I'm going to change the name for this episode. This to me is going to be Special Spliffs. I'm going to tell you a special story today, a story that's close to my heart, a story that I've known since I was a child. And if you're from Manchester, a story that a lot of people will know. Today, while we smoke, I'm going to tell you the story of St. Michael's flags. There's a reason that we're here at 3:30 in the morning, but I'll get to that in a minute. I want to tell you a bit more about Angel Meadows in the area. Angel Meadows itself was once a really affluent area. You know, a lot of decent people and higher classes lived there. Unfortunately, as soon as the Industrial Revolution hit, it was a big change scene in Angel Meadow. It was rife with disease and famine. People couldn't afford to eat. The only place that they had to work throughout the whole places was in the factories. You can't see it now, but a lot of them worked in the tobacco factories down at the bottom. Social standing was completely altered in Angel Meadows during that time, and it was then considered a slum. People really, you know, they really struggled to survive on a day-to-day basis. There was no food, there was no work. Children were struck to poverty from a very young age. The disease was disgusting. They were sharing houses, they were renting rooms. One family would sleep and then they'd go out to work while another family would come back and they'd use that same bedroom. It was a really bad area. Most of the dads and the mums would, like I say, work in the factories, and that's when the area was really rife as well for a lot of what they called scuttlers, which I suppose you could call our version of the Peaky Blinders. They literally did meet in a park just like St. Michael's flags, and they kicked the shit out of each other, to put it pretty bluntly. And those lads that did scuttle, they had nothing else to do. They got involved in gangs if they couldn't afford to feed the family. There was probably a pickpocket or something like that. Now, the first foundation stone was laid here in 1788, and this was considered Manchester's largest cemetery in the whole area. Now, there was reasons that you would be buried here. First one is you had no family. Second one is you were poor. You know, you couldn't afford a funeral, or they just simply didn't know who you was. Unfortunately, in those days, due to the disease and the famine, a lot of dead bodies and a lot of people were discovered over in ankles. And if they didn't know exactly who you were, this is where you ended up. It was really considered a pauper's grave. Now, the worst bit about this is during that time, when the ground was fertilised, there was over 40,000 bodies in this area itself. And a lot of people actually started digging up the soil and selling it to the local farmers. It got so bad to one point that they didn't know what to do. It was an epidemic. There was people coming in from all over Birmingham, all over the place, and they were coming right here to dig up the grave, to dig up people's graves and to take the soil and sell it to farmers all over the place. Literally, they were coming all over and they were buying our soil, our fertilised soil. Obviously, it was fertilised because of the poor people that were in the ground. Now, in response to this, the government were up in arms. You know, it was up and down the country. People were saying this is a disgrace. And in a response to that, in 1855, there was a burial act that was introduced, shall we say. The only reason they introduced it is because he was stealing the soil from this very place. And in response to that, and in response to them stealing the soil, they had these extra, there must be a ton and a half, but they laid these flags. And the reason that these flags are here to this day is really, it's a quite crazy story, because the reason that they're here was to stop people from stealing the soil and selling it onto the farmers. Absolutely surreal. Take a look. Day there's over 40,000 people still buried at this location. The reason that this very park is called St. Michael Flags is because of the flags that were put here to protect the poor, well, the people that were buried here. Like I say, this whole area of Angel Meadows has so much history steeped in it, and that brings us to the reason why we are back here at 4 o'clock in the morning, because a legend says that if you come to St. Michael's Flags between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, you can actually hear the clogs of the workers still going down to the factories and still going in to work. So as part of the Scenic, well, in fact the serious split series, that's why I had to come here and I had to just show our respect, because you know this is a big part of who we are and our heritage. I love my city and I love Manchester, and this is the heart of Manchester, it really is, and the story touches so many people, and it's a surprise that a lot of people do not know that where we're stood right now is literally almost the start of Manchester and what it really was to become. In the industrial age, this is the part of the city that was bustling. This is where you'd find your Mancunian, this is where you'd find the real gritty side to Manchester, and I tell you what, once you see that and you feel that, there's no turning back. It becomes a part of you, it becomes a part of who you are. Now we will be going down at another point to show you the oldest street left in Manchester, down in Ancoats. I swear to God, it's something to walk down, it's absolutely mad. But for now, this is us, Bud Brothers. We've had a really busy night, but this is us signing out. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Special Smokes. I really do appreciate it. We're going to spend a couple of minutes now just hearing. It is raining, so I doubt we will, but we're going to walk up towards the tobacco factory dead nice and quiet, and we're going to see if we do actually manage to hear any clogs or the sound or the echoes of history and the workers going to work at this time in the morning. And if we could hear their boots hitting the floor, might be a long shot, because you know Manchester's really bustling and busy, but you never know, we might catch a little something. Like I say, thank you very much for spending all this time with us. We really do appreciate it, and we hope to catch you in the next episode.
Get fly, I got 6 jobs, I don't get